with details on the Bloodline angle in WWE and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. On his 6 Feet Under podcast, The Undertaker heaped praise on WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H, saying he's always had that mind for the business. He's always had a really good comprehension of the business, not only idea-wise and being kind of in tune with our audience for the most part, he also knows how to deal with the athletes now. His demeanor and the way that he interacts with talent is really good. When I'm around, I kind of watch from afar, and it's just a really good mentor type. He's wearing a lot of hats, but his demeanor and the ability to lock in with today's talent, it's different than it used to be. He was one of my favorite people to get in the ring with. We had amazing chemistry, and he always had a good idea of the story and where it would go. He understands that the business is evolving. The business and the talent is evolving, and it's a different mindset in the way that they approach things and interact with. It's just different. I've been accused of calling some of the talent soft, and it's not so much that they're soft. It's just a different time period. Decade by decade, everything changes, and Triple H is able to relate and get his message and his vision across to today's talent. That's key to being able to have that open line of communication, which I think most talent feel like they have with him, and a trust level. Just his ideas alone, they're modern. They're with what's going on in society. After the likes of Jinder Mahal, Veer Mahan himself, and more were let go, SANGA had this to say regarding all the releases in WWE that were Indian, saying this in a video on X.
नमस्ते दोस्तों, मैं हूं सौरभ गुर्जर। भगवत गीता में एक लाइन है, जो हुआ अच्छा हुआ, जो हो रहा है अच्छा हो रहा है, और जो भविष्य में होगा वो और भी अच्छा होगा। हम सकारात्मक हैं, हम पॉजिटिव हैं, मैं पॉजिटिव हूँ, रिंकू पॉजिटिव है, जिंदर पाजी पॉजिटिव, हम सब लोग पॉजिटिव हैं। और ये वीडियो हमारे उन चाहने वालों के लिए है जो लोग कहीं ना कहीं दुखी हैं। तो आप लोगों से कहना हूँ पॉजिटिव हैं, और आप भी पॉजिटिव रहिए। थोड़ा सा दिल में एक टीस है, छोटी सी, कि जब व्यूअरशिप की बात आती है तो आपको व्यूअरशिप हमारे देश भारत से चाहिए, फेसबुक पे व्यूअरशिप भारत देश से चाहिए, यूट्यूब पे व्यूअरशिप भारत देश से चाहिए, टीवी पे व्यूअरशिप भारत देश से चाहिए। लेकिन जहां भारत के टैलेंट की बात आती है वो आपको आगे लेके नहीं जाना है। जो भी आपकी सोच रही हो, इस ओके होता है, क्रिएटिव्स होते हैं, काम करने का तरीका होता है, बट ये आपको समझना चाहिए। इस बात को लेके दुख है कि 1.4 बिलियन पीपल, 140 करोड़ की जनसंख्या हमारी, लोग आपको पसंद करते हैं, लोग हमें पसंद करते हैं। वो चाहते हैं कि उनके देश भारत का कि एथलीट्स ऐसे हों जो इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे काम करें, बट आप हो कि मौके देने को तैयार नहीं हो। इतिहास गवाह इस बात का, शुरुआत से लेकर आज तक। सौरभ नहीं है, कोई बात नहीं, कोई दूसरा तो होता। एक भी भारतीय आपकी कंपनी में ही नहीं है। ये सुन के थोड़ा सा और ये सोच के थोड़ा सा बुरा लग रहा है, और मुझे पता है कि हमारे जो फैंस हैं, जो हमारे देश भारत के लोग हैं, उनको भी बुरा लग रहा होगा, और इसका जवाब हमें देने की जरूरत नहीं है। 140 करोड़ की जनसंख्या है, वो इस बात का आपको जवाब देगी। बट थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर एवरीथिंग। और भगवान ने मौके पहले भी दिए थे, मौके अब भी दे रहा है और आगे भी देगा, और हम इसमें खुश हैं। तो सभी भाइयों, भारत देश के मेरे लोगों, हम पॉजिटिव हैं, आप पॉजिटिव रहिए, हम खुश हैं, आप भी खुश रहिए। हम सब मिलके आगे बढ़ेंगे, हमारा पूरा देश हमारे साथ है, और हम अपने देश के साथ हैं। अपने देश का मान नहीं गिरने देंगे, चाहे उसके लिए हमें कुछ भी छोड़ना पड़े। जय हिंद।
Explaining why she ended up signing a deal with TNA Wrestling, former WWE star Ash by Elegance told Sportskeeda, "TNA is, I feel, a land of open creativity. It lets you explore many options. There are other companies out there that I have talked to and was in negotiations with, but one thing that drew me to TNA was Tommy Dreamer and Gail Kim were like, listen, we let our talent have creative freedom. Yes, we will help you and take that creativity to the next level and bring it to life. That's something that drew me to TNA. Also, watching the women's knockouts division, I feel it's the best of the best. These women are hungry. I've been honored and blessed to sit ringside for Jordan's matches. Seeing what they do, seeing that they put their heart and soul into the ring is amazing. I'm super passionate about wrestling in other places that I have wrestled at before. You lose that passion for being on the road every week, every Monday or Friday at TV. You lose that passion because it's a story that you're playing when you're going out there. The wrestlers at TNA have that passion and are hungry for that next step and next level. Tommy Dreamer was like, we saw your potential at WWE. We want to capitalize on that and make you a star. That's what stood out to me. Revealing how she experienced racism at the recent WWE UK live event. Screenshots from a fan on X read, I booked my tickets in November and specifically selected the first row as I'm short and can't see otherwise. It's no one else's job to accommodate my height but me. I paid extra for this. When I arrived, I was in the second row from front with a magic AA row just appearing, rightfully, so I was upset about this as I paid to be in front row, and if more tickets are added, they should be added behind, not in front, without informing the individual in the front row. I calmly and politely explained this to a staff and they said there's nothing they can do despite there being free seats front row and me not being able to say shh, which isn't their problem. I was stuck behind a 6'3" geezer, so I couldn't see the show at all. There was also a snobby drunk woman 2 rows to the left in front of me who kept making snarly comments at me and bullying me. I have every right to be upset about the situation, and I have every right to speak during the show without being shushed by a drunk woman. She got into my face all throughout the night, screaming things like, go back to your hole, stop causing trouble, no one wants to hear you, disgusting piece of and many more. The staff witnessed and heard this but did nothing about it. I broke down into tears and had multiple panic attacks during the event as I felt very overwhelmed by the situation. The staff again saw this but did nothing. During the main event, during Cody's entrance, I stood on my chair as it was the only way I was going to see and no one was going to help me. I got pushed by fans behind me because they couldn't see, but it wasn't an issue when I couldn't see the whole time. This staff member ran faster than Usain Bolt when I got on my chair and started screaming and verbally abusing me. I directly told him it's not my problem if people couldn't see the way he did to me, but I got kicked out of the arena. The drunk woman continued to keep shushing me and I bite back and said, don't tell me what to do, and she replied, or what, and came to attack me. The staff did nothing. I made a formal complaint until 1 a.m. to the O2 about this and now it's under investigation. Cody Rhodes replied, get us a mailing addy and we can send some goods. Her jacket was great. Sorry about that experience. Mentioning a potential comeback to pro wrestling, Booker T noted on his Hall of Fame podcast, it's hard to walk away from it, it really is. It's so hard. I look at Matt and Jeff, Chris Jericho, Taker, The Rock sneaking into WrestleMania 40. That's what the business is. We never really retire. Even myself, I'm thinking about having another match at Reality of Wrestling. I've been training. I've been getting myself together in the gym on a regular basis. I'm on the 30-day ab workout. I'm like, man, I can still do this. How are you going to tell a man he can't do it no more? You can't do it. During the WWE event at the O2 Arena in London, England, Drew McIntyre would take a shot at soccer legend Wayne Rooney, who was in attendance.
Speaking of British legends, is that Wayne Rooney? Rooney indeed, gotta give the man his props. one British legend to another. You're the freaking man in your day, but aren't we the same age? What the hell happened to you?
Given the recent developments in the Bloodline story, an update has been provided as Ringside News wrote that recent events within the Bloodline have triggered significant shifts in group dynamics. The expulsion of Jimmy Uso and the enlistment of Tama Tonga as his replacement, orchestrated by Solo Sikoa, marked a critical juncture in the SmackDown storyline last week. Reports from WrestleVotes indicate that Roman Reigns is poised to step away from WWE television for an unspecified period. However, his impact on the evolving Bloodline narrative will remain profound as he continues to wield substantial creative input behind the scenes. I'm told that although Roman Reigns will be off TV for an indefinite period of time, he will still have substantial creative input in the evolving Bloodline storyline over the course of the next few months, stated a source. When Ringside News reached out to a senior member of the WWE creative team for insights into the planning and coordination of the Bloodline storyline, the response underscored the meticulous planning undertaken by a select group of individuals. Steering this narrative ship are key figures such as Paul Levesque, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman. While specifics remain under wraps, a handful of WWE staff members, including Bruce Pritchard, Ed Koski, Ryan Callahan, and Michael Hayes, are also privy to the storyline's trajectory and major developments. It was emphasized that all plans have been firmly cemented. All things Bloodline have already been decided by Levesque, Roman, and Heyman. They are keeping it tight, but certain people like Pritchard, Koski, Callahan, and Hayes are in the loop. When it comes to the internal WWE reaction to the new tag team belts being unveiled on SmackDown, Ringside News wrote that according to Fightful Select, WWE talent, speaking to Fightful, unanimously expressed their admiration for the new designs of the WWE Tag Team Championship titles. Reports indicate that the titles had been in production for a considerable period before their unveiling on last night's show, adding to the anticipation and excitement surrounding their debut. Giving his thoughts on AEW airing the backstage footage from All In Wembley, where an altercation took place between CM Punk and Jack Perry, Jim Ross noted on his Grilling JR podcast, "The value of showing that footage to me was the fact that you got on with your storytelling with FTR and the Bucks, so to me, when that was the direction that was chosen, I was much more comfortable showing that footage. Other than that, I'm not sure what it meant. I'm not sure why we did it, other than the fact that it helped tie together a very crucial and important pay-per-view match. So that's my thoughts on that deal. As far as Jack Perry's concerned, I've been a Jack Perry fan since day one. I remember being somewhat resistant on calling him Jungle Boy because I told him I'm not going to rely on this Jungle Boy moniker as much as it has been in the past because you're not going to be a boy forever. I never had a crossword with this kid. He's always been very polite. I got to know his mother and his sister. They're just wonderful people. But we all can make mistakes, and he's young and can be somewhat impetuous, but that just goes with the youth. Hell, some of us old guys are young thinking and impetuous, but I hope that they get everything worked out with Jack. Wouldn't Sunday be an interesting time for him to return? As former Stardom owner Rossy OGAWA is starting his own Joshi promotion, Marigold, Kenny Omega would accuse him in a couple clips from his Twitch live stream.
From someone who lived it, breathed it, who has very close friends in the industry, I don't mean necessarily wrestling industry, I mean the industry, I mean like the government issued press and the information that they know. I'm just going to leave it at that. I would say don't be so quick to listen to praise for that individual because someday, not sure when it'll be, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, people will know the truth. And what they do with that truth, I don't know. Will they share it? but a lot of the higher ups in Japan, from Japan, they know exactly what kind of business he's up to, and what he's been up to for decades. All I gotta say. All I gotta say. I don't care about Rossy being an E-drone. I mean, whatever. It's no big deal. That's his. He's done. That's not even the tip of the iceberg, guys. Just you freaking wait. Just you freaking wait. If you guys are still interested in wrestling and you're still kind of listening to the stories and reading stuff, when it finally comes out, when it finally comes. There are a lot of people that refuse to work with him for the very same reason. Some of those people are even in WWE. Some of those people are in AEW. And they have a very good reason. It's not just like, yeah, I decided to wake up and not like this guy. So, yep. And hey, if you want to know sort of along what lines they tread amongst, the dude just flat out said, hey, we're looking for girls from like ages 13 to 21 that don't have a boyfriend or aren't married. We already know that he puts underage girls in very revealing swimsuit calendars and books. And I wish that's all he did. Let's put it away.
Taking to X, Wes Lee, who has been out of action from NXT since early December, posted a video and noted how his recovery is going, writing update, making great progress. Still uncertain when everything will be firing properly with my body, but the mind is strong. Having creative waves and I'm driving back into outlets to create art. Haven't done this since 08, so bear with the sloppiness. Have a great weekend. As Seth Rollins is set for surgery to deal with a torn meniscus, Ringside News wrote that, according to insights from Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, the timeline for Rollins' return hangs in the balance, contingent upon the type of procedure required. If extensive reconstruction is necessary, Rollins could be absent for approximately 8 months. Conversely, a less invasive procedure might lead to a speedier recovery, spanning 2 to 3 months. Meltzer, awaiting official confirmation, speculates the latter scenario based on current information. Advising WWE to err with caution when it comes to Uncle Howdy returning to the company, Dutch Mantel noted on his Storytime podcast, well, Bo Dallas, needs help. He needs a lot of it, and this could backfire in their faces big time. It has to be done, I'm sure in a certain way, but I don't have an idea for it all. I know they're looking to pay homage to Bray Wyatt, but that might be a bigger task than they think, so we'll see what they do. I'll judge it only at the end. Touching on the health of Drew McIntyre, Ringside News wrote that, according to PW Insider Elite, Drew McIntyre is currently pushing through injuries during the ongoing WWE European Tour. Despite the annual post-WrestleMania tour of the UK already making stops in Birmingham, London, and Cardiff, Wales, the former WWE World Heavyweight Champion has been fulfilling his advertised matches despite grappling with lingering injuries. Social media posts from the WWE UK Tour revealed McIntyre sporting an arm sleeve on his left arm during matches this week. It was noted that McIntyre suffered a badly hyperextended elbow, likely during his WrestleMania 40 clash with Seth freaking Rollins, but is soldiering on through the discomfort. We will have to wait and see whether McIntyre will end up taking time off later for the injury, as he has still yet to sign a new contract with WWE. Asked if he ended up seeing Roman Reigns following their match at WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes told the SI Media podcast, "When you do something so special and epic," and I'm specifically talking about his run as champion, not anything I did. "When you change the landscape of the company, when you help better the locker room situation for the talent surrounding you, when you bring the entire tide up for one company," which Roman did, and you're a part of something like WrestleMania 40, his 9th or 10th WrestleMania main event, you're part of that. In the oddest of ways, we don't need to have a moment. He was nowhere to be found in Gorilla when I got back. I look forward to when we actually do have that moment and get to see one another. No doubt, my entire time in WWE has been a wartime situation. There's always been somebody. There's always been some sort of fight and issue. Even with all that said, you're bonded to a degree over the battles that you have. I might be speaking very kindly about him now, and he might be thinking in his mind that he wants to smash me and murder me when he comes back. If that's the case, that's okay. I'll be ready for it. Of all the people I did see, the one I didn't, I think maybe in his mind, if I could put myself in his shoes, he knew that his run had been generational, that he had changed the industry, which very few people can say they changed the industry. You can count 10 people in the last 30 years who changed the industry. I think he knew that he could walk out of the ballpark knowing the ball was still sailing and WWE is going to be just fine, if not even better. We await the return of Roman Reigns. Asked if he felt offended by Roman Reigns not meeting him in the back after the match at WrestleMania 40, Rhodes replied, "No, I didn't take it personally at all. I wouldn't take it personal if he hates my guts to this day. I just feel a little differently." For more information regarding the recent releases in WWE, Ringside News wrote that WWE made another round of releases on Friday night. The list of released talents include Indus, comprising Veer, SANGA and Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, and Zion Quinn. Internally, the releases were attributed to budget cuts. Although specifics conveyed to the talent remain undisclosed, the affected individuals were informed of the release on Friday evening. Regarding the reasons behind the cuts, Fightful Select reports that WWE higher-ups indicated a combination of factors. These included a lack of television appearances due to creative not finding suitable storylines for the talent, as well as considerations of upward trajectory and tenure within the company. At SmackDown, several wrestlers learned of the releases as news circulated throughout the evening. Unlike previous instances, there were no memos sent out to notify talent or staff about the releases. Consequently, remaining roster members became aware of the departures as they became public knowledge. WWE has ceased public announcements of releases for years, and it's yet to be confirmed if these are all the recent releases. It was also clarified that Mahal's departure was a result of a release rather than him voluntarily leaving the company. Xia Li had been collaborating directly with Shawn Michaels on her storyline with Lyra Valkyria and was even advertised for this Monday's World Title Battle Royal. However, when questioned about this, it was revealed that the graphics team had not been informed of her release details. Overall, there were no indications of underlying issues or tensions contributing to the releases, and the released talents were generally well liked within the company. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.